I am like a 10 handicap, and I've played some great golf, and I've also played some sucky golf. But I really want to be a scratch golfer. I happen to live in a place in the world where I can't play golf year round. I'm not in Florida, Palm Springs, Vegas. Oh man, I dream to be in one of those places where I could literally just play golf all the time. But I don't. I don't live in one of those places. So this is my golf course. This is my year-round practice facility that we have set up. And I'm using GS Pro. I've got the Bushnell Launch Pro. And my goal, and I don't know if it's possible, but my goal is to go from a 10 handicap to a 0 handicap. And this is going to be where I practice. This is the only place I'm going to practice. Outside of this, I'll play golf on here, and I'll play golf outside as much as we can. In the summertime, almost all the golf will be outside, but this will be the practice facility. From putting to chipping to iron work to the driver, all of it is going to be right here, and we're going to use the Bushnell to give us all the information and see if I can go from a 10 to a 0 via garage golf. Most people just go to a range and just pound balls, and I think that's been my world for so much of my life. Well, I had ChatGPT tell me that that's actually not the right way to practice golf. And you have to have some type of structure. And so what I've chosen for my structure with the help of Chat is I'm gonna putt for 30 minutes a day. I'm gonna chip for 30 minutes a day. So this would be 30 yards and in for 30 minutes, just making those shots. I'm gonna do iron work for 30 minutes a day, and then I'm gonna do driver work for 30 minutes a day. Chat specifically said don't spend that much time on driver and irons, but I really want to get to where I'm hitting 70-80% of fairways in regulation, and it would be ideal to get to 80% of greens in regulation, and then your chipping and putting is the thing that cleans everything up. I think the focus has to be on those 4 categories in order to get to a scratch golfer. So that's like 2 hours of practice a day right here. We're gonna start out with putting. And I am gonna go to the online practice course, GPS practice facility. Today, I'm gonna run the stimp at 12, and I'm putting the putting forgiveness over here to hard. That means the algorithm or the software is not going to soften the blow of the putt. Like if I push it, I push it. If I pull it, I pull it. So it's as realistic as I possibly can to outdoor golf, even though we're not outside. All right, the first part of this 30-minute putting session is going to be all about this 5-foot putt. These need to be autopilot for me. If it's 5-6 foot, it needs to be like 100% of the time in, like autopilot. I'm going to do a lot of 5-foot putts. I'm going to start myself a countdown. In fact, you should see this. This is my countdown. My Rogue clock will start the countdown for 30 minutes. That's how I'm going to keep track of my time. So I'm not sitting here constantly looking at the clock. I'm just going to roll putts until that beeps at me. 30 minutes. I've not rolled a putt yet, by the way. You saw me just log in. Ooh, right out of the gate, pushed it. So just so you can see what I'm looking at, this is my ball speed, which for a 5-foot putt, we need to be around 3 miles an hour. Came out a little bit hot. But this number right here is the horizontal launch angle. And that 100% is whether I came through with my club face open or closed. If it's positive, because I'm right-handed, it went through forward. If it's negative, it would be I pulled it. And so I'm working on putting stroke just to get that thing as zeroed out as I can, and then I'm feeling my pace. The pace is, those are the 2 important things about, just for me, for practicing this putting, is having good horizontal launch angle and just having a good feel of where my pace needs to be. Perfect. So, got my horizontal launch angle down good. That was about 3.3 miles per hour. And we're just gonna do this for a while. We're just gonna sit here and roll a 5-foot putt for like 15 minutes. 10-15 minutes. You're probably like, hey, how is that even measuring it? Well, on the Bushnell, if you put the dot on your club, see that dot right there? It'll actually measure your horizontal launch angle and give you some feedback on your putter. That's really all you need. The ball speed is what matters on your pace. And just whether you're pushing or pulling. I pulled that one a little bit. What's crazy is you get to where you can start feeling it and you know when you pulled it. And I think that's my biggest goal, is just you know what straight feels like and you know what pulling and pushing feels like, and it just becomes autopilot. Like you just know. And these short putts should just be autopilot, like no brainer. Doesn't matter whether there's a break or not on the course. 5 foot's 5 foot. You got to read it. But if you can put it online and you can put the right pace on it, there's an argument online that the Sims won't read a really short putt. I'm convinced. Watch this. We'll see if we can just barely. I mean, I can leave a 5 foot short. Like that was a 2-mile-an-hour ball speed. So you can actually practice really short putts if you want. I think a 5 foot putt is something that you've got to putt it in real life and it matters and it's missable. If you're like 2 feet out, you know, a lot of times you're just going to stand up and pop that in and away it goes. You're probably not going to do that unless you're Wesley Bryan on a 5 foot putt. And again, this is set up at a 12 stimp because the online tournaments on the pros is usually at 12. So if you're playing your local course and they were stimping to like a 10, then and you're getting ready to head out, then you might want to come out and do this drill and just change that to a 10 and your pace would be a little bit hotter. All right, so that's 10 minutes of putting, and I have came out to be about 47 putts. So that's about right. Obviously, the goal is to do 10 minutes, but it kind of usually turns out to be about 50 putts. So if you don't want to do time and you're counting putts, maybe you say, I'm going to roll 55 footers. And then, this is where I work into a drill. And I start at 10 feet. So I've got the 5 foot down. We're comfortable there. So I move to 10 feet, and the goal is to go make 5 in a row or reset it. Once I make 5, I'm going to go to 15, 5 in a row, or stay there until I make 5 in a row. If you miss the 4th one, you go back to 0. You got to make 5 in a row. And then I go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 would be the goal to get there inside that 30-minute window. So if you don't get all the way to the 30 feet, for me, that's fine. I'm just going for the next 20 minutes. I'm going to work this ladder. So this is a 10-footer. Pulled it right out of the gate. So that's good pace. Went by about 2 feet. I was at 4.5 miles. So this needs to be about 4 miles an hour, and we got to stop pulling them. There we go. That's a good putt. So the two most important things in putting, obviously, in my opinion, is pace and alignment. Because everything's a straight putt. So if you can align it and you hit your pace, then you can turn that into anything you want on the golf course. Three in a row. That was drippy, just below 4. I really like 4 miles an hour because then you're not dripping it in. That's 4, right at 4 miles an hour. It's perfect. I like that. Sweet, there's our 5. So 5 in a row on the 10-foot. Took us 4 minutes to get there. So we've got good time. Now we're gonna move to the 15-footer. So this needs to be like 4.8, 4.9, even 5 miles an hour will get you just past the hole. That was 4.6. I had it online, just didn't have the pace. Get in there, yeah. So that barely trickled over at 4.7. So that would be like minimum pace on this one. Nice. So that was 0.5 right, caught the right edge of the hole. So you can still catch the hole with a 0.5 left or right. Still going have a chance of catching the hole, but you're catching the side of the hole. Boom, that's 4 in a row. This guy will be to move us to 20 feet. Felt good, get in there, boom. All right, that took about 10 minutes, another 5 minutes, sorry, to cover the 15-foot. So now we move back to 20 feet. This is where it gets hard, 20 feet. Anywhere, in the real world or not real world, to make 5 of these in a row, that's a lot of work. Past the hole, so I was a little hot on my pace. It's like 6.4. This needs to be about 6.1, somewhere in there on pace. See if we can end on a good note. Oh, just to the edge. So I never got my 5 in a row at the 20-foot range. Was able to get 10 and 15. I made 2 threes here and there, but never quite got 5 in a row. So that's the putting session. 30 minutes is what that took. And you're just sitting here rolling putts. So the next phase will be chipping. And I'll record that on another day, and you can see my routine that I'm trying to do for 30 minutes to get to scratch.